eccentric bunch of car designers, hot rodders, and engineers up against the corporate world and Ferrari in a big race.
Not interested.
Not interested.
Not interested
Pass,
at all.
Pass. Pass. With Matt Damon.
Still not interested.
Christian Bale.
Oh, I'm in. All right.
Caitriona Balfe. Bing, 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 bing. The woman from Outlander. Done.
Carol Shelby.
Maybe.
Lee Iacocca, Ford Motor. Suppose Henry Ford II wanted to build the greatest race car the world's ever seen to win the 24 hours of Le Mans. What's it take?
Well, it takes something money can't buy.
Money can buy speed.
What isn't about speed?
Ford versus Ferrari is the story of the race at Le Mans in 1966 when the Ford Motor Company decided to take on Ferrari and beat them at their own game. Pow!
That's not what it's about. It's not.
Ford versus Ferrari is a story of brotherhood and friendship.
There
a
you
story
go.
of love.
Jesus
and-
Christ.
There you go.
Get it right, man.
Ford versus Ferrari is the story of Henry Ford II, also known as the Deuce.
You need a pure racer behind the wheel of your car. That's Ken Miles.
I don't trust him an inch.
We heard he's difficult.
No, Ken's a puppy dog.
No. Whatever it is, Shell, no.
Trust me.
I don't know about you. You've done your fair share of the choreographed fights.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have too. I'm really bored of doing that. It was great to do a fight where you just get to be a bit of a wimp who really doesn't want to get punched or punched.
Or
because
punch,
that's the
or-
point of their fight. They're
They
best
don't wanna
friends.
hurt each other, yeah.
They haven't this knockdown fight, but they don't want to hurt or get hurt.
It's like
They really
we
show.
talked about it as brothers fight. You know, when I'd fight with my brother growing up. We knew there was a line that you didn't cross. And we put that beat in the fight where I grab a can, and then I'm like, I'm not going to hit him with a can, and I pick up like a loaf of
Wonder
bread.
Bread.
Yeah, Wonder Bread, and start hitting him with the bread. You know, it's a totally ridiculous fight.
You know, both of them have done a million fight scenes where the whole point is to look as lethal or brutal or unstoppable as possible. And I think that our whole point here was to not look like any of that. To look like two guys, just like what Matt said, two guys getting in a kind of let's not hurt each other fight.
And I always throw out in these like short shorts with these very English chicken legs, very white, with your like, sort of Farmer John tan and just looking incapable of doing it. And half the time, you were just chucking me around the place because I was so light and flimsy.
No, you reminded me of gym class, 1973 or something. Yeah.
I heard somebody mutter. We were watching playback of one of the little moments, and I was like, I can't believe that's Batman and Jason Bourne.
What happened?
What happened to those guys?
When you read something like that and then you know that your scene partner is going to be Christian, I mean, that's what you kind of dream of being able to do. It was just, it was so much fun, but it was also, we were on a rig, so there was a lot of things going on. It was a lot of movement, but it's so central to their relationship.
Well, the great thing about when you're driving, though, is you want to try and ignore that the camera is there in every moment in filming all the time. So it can be a little tricky when it's right there and you're having to look through it.
Wait, you ignore it?
And, it was actually sort of, it was great because Jim would just sort of set me off and I would go off on the rounds, and I would just sort of do things, and we'd talk about, and there's wonderful writing in the gyms, and I would do all of that, and then there'd be a bit of time, so I'd be like, well, I'll just start chucking this stuff out, and then I'd either pretend I couldn't hear Jim when he was going, "Man, shit, what are you doing?" You know, it was good until that moment. Now you're awful. Oh, can't hear you. And it was so much fun because even when I wasn't driving myself, that's all, getting just dragged behind on this wonderful vehicle, the Biscuit. It was just so much bloody fun each day. And I think that was essential with Ken Miles, wasn't it? Is that he isn't this sort of macho, stoic race driver who never is impassive and has nothing to say about anything. He always said, it's not a wrestling match, it's a ballet. And he was very colourful and exuberant and very communicative, and expressive. He just couldn't hide his emotions. And so that helps so much in trying to, I think, bring people into that car.
Do you think you can beat Ferrari?
I can try. We're lighter,
We're faster. That don't work, we're nastier. We're gonna make history.
I think so much movies, particularly the movies that people go see these days in movie theaters, are escapist fare. You know, it's really mainly made by computers and CGI in so many ways. And what Tracy's saying, like for that first scene where they collected these actual cars, or when you walk into the scene in the Ferrari factory, which, you know, they at one point I think we had $200 million of actual Ferraris in that scene. All of it was really real, and we could feel it, and it really helps us as actors when you're dealing with a car driving by it, 100 miles an hour rather than 200 miles an hour, but still it makes a big difference that it's an actual car. You're not just following a tennis ball.
I think everybody on the movie felt grateful to be working on a movie like this because they're getting made less and less frequently. And we all loved the script. Jim had a great plan. We all knew what it was. There were no surprises. We just kind of went to work and went home every day feeling like we accomplished the exact thing we wanted to accomplish. So it was really joyful.
Of course, I blew my voice out in the first take, and I turned to Jim, or maybe even in the rehearsal, I turned to Jim and I said, I can do that 12 more times. And he said, good to know. I'm going to ask you for 15. And I think we did it 18. I think I wound up doing it 18 times. But it's a great scene. It's a lot of fun.
It's Lee in this very precise point of time. And, you can't look at him, I think, as sort of this titan of industry or this huge sort of internationally renowned businessman. He's an outsider at this company. He thinks out of the box because he's sort of put out of the box, and he's the son of an immigrant. It was really interesting to sort of take all the research but then pinpoint it to this very precise place and time.
I learned how to drive from Christian Bale. We were doing a scene in the good old country squire, and it was a scene where we had to drive up and get out, and then one take he was like, no, get in the front and you can drive, and he showed me how to put it into drive. It was an automatic, and then how to reverse and reset it. So I guess that's a pretty cool thing to learn, especially on this movie for all things. But yeah, that's probably
especially from Christian Bale. Is he a good teacher?
Yeah, he's he could do better, but